Okay, this is like a follow-up video to another video that I made. I don't know if that one is going to be uploaded or if it is going to be uploaded when. So I'm going to treat this as technically it is a follow-up to a video that I don't know if it will or will not come out, but it's also a standalone video on its own. This video is a very perfectly fine standalone video. It includes spoilers for the game Death Stranding 2, so let's just get that out the way. It includes major spoilers for literally everything ever in the game. Literally the most massive spoilers of all time. You have been warned. Okay, so let's get into it. The idea of this video is disappointment. There's a lot to like about the game, don't get me wrong. And I've said it before in the other video that I'll reiterate here just to make sure we have everything making sense. I do like the gameplay. The gameplay is well made, but it does not hit, the whole game in itself does not hit in the same way that the first game does. And even though I do believe the gameplay is better, I do like the general locations better, the maps better, just playing the game is better. It's more fun to me. Even though that is the case, and especially like boss fights and all this different stuff, gameplay, very good. I have not really much bad to say about the gameplay. Pretty much all good. There's some nitpicks I have to say, but gameplay overall good. I've explained that before, and I'm just gonna try to reiterate that right here, right now. Just trying to say, yeah, gameplay was good. But the problem that I've been having that disappointed me was the story. And what I did was I compared it to movies, TV shows. I compared it to other video games. And if I compare it to movies, TV shows, or video games, I'm thinking of like good ones, right? I'm thinking of story and how characters interact and what the point of things is. And if you look at it, let's just look at the first aspect, which is the story, or sorry, how characters interact with each other. So I'm going to compare it to God of War. Kratos and Atreus are constantly talking, and even like Mimir is constantly talking. Like they are constantly talking, so much so that even outside of the cutscenes, you're getting so much story building. Because that's not even considering cutscenes, but you think about that dynamics of how they talk to each other. Think about that. You think about how Kratos talks to Atreus, how Atreus talks to Kratos, how Atreus talks to Mimir, how Mimir talks to Atreus, how Mimir talks to Kratos. There's just these, and I'm mostly talking about the first game, but the second game also falls into line with that as well. I'm not talking more of the first game because I haven't played the second game, so I can't really talk too much on that. But you just notice that there's a dynamic. The characters have emotion. The characters have something to say. They have moments where they're talking to each other. Yeah, there's even moments where you could talk to certain characters and keep like pressing for dialogue. This is like a majority of games. There's a lot of games that are literally like this. Red Dead 2 is like this. Even Yakuza games are like, Yakuza games are definitely like this. They have a bunch of talking. Ichiban in Like a Dragon has literally like he bonds with people on his team and has like whole side quests where they talk for minutes upon minutes. You're just sitting there listening to them talk about stuff in their lives and like problems or something. Like this stuff is necessary. Like if you have movies, TV shows, usually the characters, especially TV shows, they talk about stuff. Sometimes they don't, depending on the show. Maybe it's more action focused, but the best ones, in my opinion, are the ones where you can really feel that rapport with the characters, where they get through stuff. They have problems and they talk about them. They build bonds. And I didn't get any of this from Death Stranding at all. And it wasn't even in the first one either. But when we're focused on the second one, I saw nothing. I wanted to see something, but I saw nothing. Tomorrow, no connection. You didn't see any connection with her and anyone else. Anyone. Same with Rainy. No connection. Not with Sam, not with anyone else. No actual genuine conversations. None of these characters ever actually talk to each other. And I'm not even going to say all the others. I'll say like Fragile, all these different these characters did not talk to each other. The only one I could think that maybe had a bit of talking was Dollman. But Dollman mostly just exposition dumped. And think about how it is with Mimir. Mimir, sure, he has exposition. He like tells you what to do. Don't get me wrong. He's like, oh, do this. He's like a guide, you could say. But he genuinely has things to say about the in-game world all the time. He's constantly talking about different gods. They're on the boat, right? Think about the first game. They're on the boat and they're just talking. Atreus asks Mimir a question and he's just talking. He's just talking about things. He's like, yeah, this is a story about how this happened. And you're just learning about the stuff that's happening within the world. Imagine if you're with like Dollman and Dollman just asks you a question. He's like, so what do you think about them BTs? And Sam actually speaks because for some reason does not speak. Sam says something like, yeah, so I don't know, maybe he'll say something like, I don't like them or something. I don't know what he would specifically say, but maybe he talks about what he thinks about BTs and he has a conversation. Like sometimes Dollman does bring up topics. He says some things, but it's not a conversation. Dollman just speaks. He's like, oh, I think this is this, or whenever you talk to him, even in his room, like he's just speaking. There's never a conversation. when Dollman speaks, no one answers. He's just talking or talking to the player or something. He's not actually talking to Sam. There's no interaction. And at the end, they want you to think that they're all friends and stuff. I don't know anything about them. I don't know the first thing about Tomorrow or Lou. I don't know the first thing about Rainey. I don't know the first thing about, I mean, a little bit about Die Hardman, I guess. Tiny bit, but honestly, don't know the first thing about Die Hardman. Don't know the first thing about Tarman. Now, granted, we have their backstories, don't get me wrong, but that's it. Backstory can only get you so much. Here's how Tarman became Tarman. Okay, who is he now though? Couldn't tell you. They don't have many interactions. If you do have interactions, it's very surface level, talking about story in Expedition dub. What is happening with Lou? And there's no chemistry. Simple as that. I don't know if I actually don't know how this works this way. I think it has to be Kojima, and maybe not just Kojima, but like his people or something. And I just don't get it. Like, why is it that every character can't have any like genuine like emotion or chemistry? Why can't a character say anything that just is like Kojima sometimes wants to have characters do wacky stuff, but why can't he have characters act a little wacky in the sense where they're not overly like, robotically wacky, but they just say something stupid, right? Or they just say an offhanded comment. You see this all the time in film and TV shows where someone says an offhanded comment or says, oh, that's BS or something, right? But not in the way that Sam says that. If Sam says that, he's going to say in the most deadpan, dry, like he just wants to be home. It almost feels like Norman Reedus phoned in his whole performance. And maybe I doubt that was the case, maybe, but it seems to me like he was just told to do it like that. Because why else would he have literally the least amount of emotion possible, other than Kojima just wants him to do that? He's like, yeah, just do this, just do it, just have no emotion. And then the chemistry, like, how can you have such little chemistry that you're in the same room with each other, right? You're filming the scene, mocapping it. It's not a problem with mocap. Remember, God of War was mocapped. We're comparing to God of War right now. God of War was mocapped. Come on, bro, and it was perfectly fine. But what in this, you can't really speak. Like when I'm playing God of War, I'm really interested in the story. I'm like, well, let's go. Don't get me wrong. I'm interested in Death Stranding story, but I'm interested in the mystery. In God of War, I'm interested in who the characters are, who they are, what do they do. In Death Stranding, I'm interested in the mystery. And that's why it's becoming hard for me to warrant or want to make any more videos exploring the lore of Death Stranding. Honestly, like, I had a bunch of videos ready to go, or not ready, but in the works on lore videos on Death Stranding too. But I honestly don't even want to do them. I don't know. I feel like I have to come back to this game, and even then, I don't know that I want to explore the lore anymore, because not only is there not going to be a third, but it's really kind of said and done, right? Like, all I really can explore is in the first game. The first game had like almost everything, and I genuinely mean this, because everything that was important happened in the first one. There's only very small specific things that happen in the second game that's kind of like semi-important, that takes more than a sentence to explain. Like, if you explain Rainey, like, think about this. How do you explain Rainey? Her cutscene, her backstory. It's literally a cutscene. That's it. She doesn't have anything extra. She has a cutscene that explains literally who she is and what she does. That explains her whole entire story. Tarman, same thing. He has a backstory cutscene, explains everything about him. That's it. He doesn't need any, he has no other depth. He has no other depth. That's his only depth. Dollman, same thing. His whole entire backstory that you can see in the game, optionally, by the way, same with Tarman, is his whole entire story. That's it. The only things that you can maybe say are like, okay, let's kind of delve into it, is the whole Lou story and stuff surrounding it, right? And with Tomorrow. But again, cutscenes got it. Cutscenes got it easy. I would say Lou in particular is one that could warrant a video though. Neil and Lucy is one that doesn't need a video. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it could use one, because it could use a little explaining. I could see that, but still pretty simple. Like, most things in the game are actually overly simple. Like, we're kind of like overthinking them. We're big upping them, because Kojima uses big words and big convoluted like ways of explaining it, but it's simple. It's like, I'm talking about a cup, but I'm saying it's a cylindrical device that I happen to maybe be able to pour some type of liquid into, and perhaps put to my lips while parted, and sip from and or drink, tipping such cup so that water or any other liquid happens to go down my throat into my stomach, so I can get its nutrients and or water in my body, or salt content within sodium or something. It's literally just convoluted. It's just talking, bro. Like, it's a cup. Just say it's a cup. The point is, the concepts and everything within this game, they're very simple. And my work in explaining the lore is literally trying to break down the convoluted speech into something that is simple, just a simple summary. But I don't really want to do that. When I want to explore lore, I want to explore lore. For example, let's even take God of War. It's an example. Most of the stuff in God of War is pretty self-explanatory, let's be honest. Let's not even worry about that. It's all in the cutscenes. It's all in the gameplay. There's nothing really like hidden. But if you were going to delve into and explaining lore, you would explain lore of the world, and you would delve delve into that type of stuff, right? And that would be pretty cool. You do the same thing with Death Stranding. But I'm specifically talking about when we're trying to explain characters, right? When you're trying to explain characters within Death Stranding, there's nothing to explain, right? Because the cutscenes that they have explain it pretty well. And if you want to summarize it, that's fine, right? But that's a whole different type of video, right? So that's the thing. I very well could summarize the Death Stranding story, right? I could try to summarize everything, put in a small little portion, because I can do it literally with any game, but it's not what I want to do, right? I want to explore some lore and kind of just delve into like lore logs, right? And look at like backstory or hidden information or something, which is, by the way, what was in the first Death Stranding. The first Death Stranding, the interview logs had hidden information that you wouldn't understand fully. Now, granted, a lot of the interviews did include stuff that was already explained, but there were a bunch of them that actually kind of explained stuff a little better in more depth than it was explained in the game. But within Death Stranding 2, everything that was explained in the game is explained in the exact same way within the corpus. Now, there are concepts within the corpus that are explained that are not explained in the game, and those ones are pretty cool. They're very few and far between. So that's like literally like, if you wanted to find those and really put them together, it would make like one video of like maybe like 20 minutes, maybe less, maybe shorter than this video. I don't know, bro. Like I'm just not too interested. I was interested before, but after finishing the story, I want to see what happened at the end of the story so I can kind of get a view and full picture on the lore and everything. I just don't think there's enough substance within the second game. Not enough happened. A lot of it just felt kind of meaningless because you have A-Pass being big bads and then big bads controlling other big bad. We're working for big bad, so we're kind of just doing stuff, but then we find out big bad is actually the real big bad we thought was a big bad is still a big bad, but he's being controlled by another big bad. But then the other big bad is easily defeated because we have no issue defeating them. Everything is easy. And then other big bad is which is Higgs, is not even really an issue because at the end of the day, Lou is just like OP or something, and Lou/Tamara is like OP or something, so she can just do whatever she wants. She just decides I don't want to be an extinction entity. All that whole sequence, the more I look at it, the more it's just stupid every single time. And no one is literally at all is talking about it at all. And I unless someone explains to me how it makes sense, it doesn't make sense. And that's the thing. It should make sense though. It should make sense. It shouldn't be so hard to understand that you have to like be convoluted. Oh, maybe it's this. Death Stranding 1 was so easy to understand. Death Stranding 1 was so easy to understand. The end of the game, they explained everything and made it make sense. Bridget explained, or Amelie explained everything, and it made perfect sense. Everything just lined up. Everything made logical sense. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I see why you would do that. And that was pretty cool. And then how everything ends, that makes sense. That was pretty cool. That was pretty epic. It was anticlimactic in the second game. Why did they have to be anticlimactic? Why? Did they think that the guitar solo was the big highlight moment? Well, we're definitely the highlight of that whole entire scene, obviously. But do they think that was the end? Like the end? Like, oh yeah, that's it. The fight's over. We can just end it randomly. It's like, no, you still had a extinction entity that you are using to open up into Amelie's Beach so you can start the Death Stranding, the last Stranding. Okay, that's got to be some big thing happening then. With Amelie, it was some big thing happening, right? There was all this big dialogue that she had with Sam about like, oh, you have to decide. It's all on you. You got to decide the decision. Make the decision. None of this happened. Nothing even similar happened. There was Lou or Tomorrow. I'm just gonna say Lou at this point. Never even discussed anything with Sam ever. They never spoke to each other until like the last scene, bruh. Imagine at the end, this new EE, putting Lou in there. Imagine if instead of her just deciding randomly, making everything trivial, just being like, oh, let me just hop on out of here. You know what I'm saying? Let me just, just do whatever. Well, GG, I just decided that I want to win. She just said you was gonna win. That's what she did. She said you was gonna win, and then just decided she wanted to win. Literally just MacGuffin. Okay, just win card. Kojima was like, yeah, just end it. I don't know how to win. How to make this. I don't know how to end this. So just make her win or something. Instead of doing that, you do something smart. You do something different. Be like, okay, let's have another sequence. That needed another sequence. It was too fast. It was too anticlimactic. It needed another sequence. You know what happened after you fought Higgs in the first game? There was still more game to be played. Still more stuff to solve. There was still more stuff to do, more story to get to. You still had to solve the problem at hand. There was plenty more cutscenes, discussions with Amelie. What happens after you're done with Higgs in the second? You're done, I guess. I was gonna do more discussing on like Fragile and how all that thing works, which is cool, I guess. But again, it was anticlimactic. This big moment where we're supposed to be like, oh, is this last Stranding gonna happen? What's gonna happen here? Are we gonna get some explanations why she is another EE? Why is she that? We're gonna get any explanation of how, like, what's that means, what it's gonna happen. There's gonna be any type of big moment where we'd be like, no, let's say, like, imagine this. Imagine Sam jumps into the handprint at the end where that's happening. He jumps in. Maybe even Higgs jumps in too. And they like wrestle in there, right? Maybe they're like grabbing on to the coffin or whatever, the little shell, and they're like wrestling, like maybe I have Sam has his hand on it, but then Higgs is pulling on his leg or something, trying to pull him back, and then you kick him off, but then you both go in, right? Or rather Higgs is in the back, you're in with Lou, and you actually are able to pull it free. You pull her out of there while you guys are in there. It hasn't happened yet. And you literally have a deep talk and you convince her to come back with tears and everything. And she's like, yes, I will come back or something. Maybe before this was established, and it would be better if she was working with, it's what I thought was going to happen. She was working with Higgs. So she's working with Higgs. She's like, okay, I'm working with Higgs. We didn't know, right? She was like undercover working with this because Higgs promised her something, right? Promised her better or something. Promised her some type of thing that she wanted, or promised her peace, or threatened her or something, whatever it is. But point is, she's working with him. She wants to go towards him, but then Sam at that moment convinces her, but I'm family. He's like, wait a second, but I'm your father. And she's like, what? And then she remembers. She's like, that's my father. I'm your Louise, right? That moment, but an actual good point, And then at that moment, they have this heartfelt time, like tears flowing. Sam's actually showing some type of emotion. They made Norman Reedus actually work for his paycheck, and he's actually showing some type of emotion. And then either it could be one of two things. Either they pull out and now they're good, and they come back out, and that was the final climactic moment, or they push even farther in, and there's another part. I don't know how they would advance that, but the point is, if you want to be crazy, if you want to make something that's interesting, think about the best finales to like movies and shows and games you've ever seen. Usually, they're not anticlimactic. They have some big fight, then they usually have something crazy. Either they have multiple fights, or they have not only multiple fights, they have a really well-built story. Usually that's what it is. They have a usually well-built story that has a good payoff. This one did not have that. So when you have no character building, no good payoff, you have no good reason for anything that's happening in the story, your game's going to be worse than the first story-wise. The first game's story is way better and way more interesting than the second. The gameplay in the second is better, but I believe this game is heavily disappointing for me, and it makes me want to move on even quicker and just like basically like literally in my mind I'm like, make this video and literally just put my head down and start running and run to the next thing. The reason why I want to put my head down and run to the next thing is because the story is so uninspiring and so disappointing that I want nothing to do with it anymore. That's how bad it was. Like I said, it wasn't just that one moment. It's me remembering over the summation of everything and thinking about what could be the interactions that Sam could have with the whole crew. Imagine that. Imagine there's a whole mission, or maybe not even just cutscene, but a whole mission where maybe you get to interact with people and talk to them, where they're at like a barbecue or something simple. Maybe they're at a barbecue, some stupid. They're at a barbecue, and Rainey put down like all the stuff to make the flowers go around them, while tomorrow's perfecting apples on the table and making sure that everyone can have an apple, making food, right? Basically she's a cook, right quick. And then we have Sam over here being a little mope in the corner. Tarman's talking and stuff, but you stand up, right? Everyone's doing all their stuff, right? Fagil's over there just smoking as usual, talking to like Dahman or something, and you go up and you talk to all of them. Let's say you go to like Lou or something, and you're like, hey, let's play, or no, maybe not that. You maybe just like talk to her in particular. You guys have like a rapport. You're like, so anyway, what do you think about, like, ask a question, anything, like what's her favorite, how long have you been learning that, right? It's the same thing if her on the stairs in the actual game. Imagine if you walked up and actually said something about it, like, so how you been doing that, or how long has it been since you've been doing that, or do you like apples? Something simple. Just talk to her, have a conversation, and she talks about like something that she remembers, and it's like a small thing. It's like, oh, I remember this thing. It's like, wait a second, that's something that only Lou would remember. See what I mean? I'm telling you, they need to put me on the writing team, bruh. I'm telling you, I would do it right for you, bro. Put me on the writing team, bro. Put me on the writing team. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. Put me on the writing team. And then like, yeah, like maybe you actually go play like games with like Hartman, but then it's like, they can even do something funny, right? You go play basketball with him. I know that's stupid, but you can make like a makeshift, like stupid basketball hoop that looks dumb. Like maybe you throw just rocks in it or something. I don't know, or make some like mechanical ball. And then like Hartman stops mid basketball throw, like in the air, and he somehow stays in air, and we wonder why that is. See, these are funny ideas. Just do it. You wanted to make the game funny with Die Hartman dancing. Do something like that. it's at least it builds something. It builds something. Like, I'm really just thinking of the system. When I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about the systems within the Like a Dragon series. That's what I'm thinking about. Like, and even Final Fantasy 16, when I played that game, I realized it also had that problem where you actually did get to talk to some characters. You know, you got to have some rapport with them, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't. It was every interaction felt like dead. Just simply how it is. I felt no connection to the connections between the characters in Final Fantasy 16, except for maybe I forgot his name necessarily right now. It's been a minute. I'm thinking Clive. I'm thinking another name. I'm thinking Cliff, but this might just be. It's who you think it is. It's that dude. You know, it's him. All right. I can't remember his name right now, but he's that dude. All right, he's that dude. You know, he's like Rama's. What is it? I forgot the name of those things too. But he like can turn into Rama or something. I don't know. It's been a minute, bro. But either way, point is they had so much dialogue in that game, and they had side quests. But even though they had them, there was no good bonding there. There was some, honestly, better than Death Stranding, obviously, but still not great because it was how they interacted. It was what they learned about each other. It was the interactions that they had. It was why they interacted, what they said to each other. It was all of that. That's all important. It's a chemistry. You need that chemistry to be able to ask questions and be like, okay, let's get their response. I know this from real life, bro. I know this from real life. Talking to people, talking to the gals, the mandem, talking to whoever it is. It doesn't matter who they are. I've had it many times. I talk to someone, they have no chemistry enough, or even they don't even, either they're nervous, they have no chemistry, or sorry, we don't have chemistry, or they're just not interested, or they just don't care to talk, or they're just bored, or they're just dealing with something like whatever it is. We can't connect for whatever reason. And because we can't connect, and I'm trying, right? I'm trying to connect. I'm saying things. Like, maybe I just get no response. But because I can't connect, there's no rapport built there. So we kind of just start pulling away. And maybe something comes up, or something pulls a rift between us, or something, and it flatlines. Pretty much, the rope gets cut. It dwindles. It gets thinner, and it gets cut. But here's the thing. I'm not saying I don't enjoy Death Stranding 2 and that I, for some reason, like regret playing it or making videos about it or something. All I'm saying is I kind of got to move on, and I'm disappointed generally in the story. Will I be interested in completing the gameplay, as in like getting up all the last roads and building up all the last gameplay stuff, doing like last bosses and stuff, like there's like some hidden bosses or something, doing the finishing up miscellaneous. I'm not saying I won't do that. I might, I'm kind of interested, but honestly, right now I'm done with Death Stranding 2. I made enough videos on it. I'm gonna have to probably just pause the Strand series, and those who actually like Death Stranding on my channel and only want to watch Death Stranding and you don't want to watch anything else on my channel, I guess this is your time to leave. It is what it is. And for those who want to watch more content on my channel that is not Death Stranding, maybe you want to watch Marvel Rivals or Ghost of Yote when it's out, or maybe you want to watch anything else, I do still want to do lore videos, news videos, gameplay videos, funny videos, just whatever I'm feeling like on whatever game I'm making. But I can't, even though it gets views, I cannot in good conscience continue the Strand series if I don't enjoy making it, and I cannot continue to make lore videos on a game that I don't care about the story of. It's why I couldn't continue making lore videos, which I was going to do on Marvel Rivals, which I was doing before, and it's also why sometimes I just stop making videos on Marvel Rivals, because I'm not interested in making videos on that game, so I move on to making something about something else. So yeah, it's like if I don't want to make a video on it, I just can't, right? So if you're interested in just my general personality, you want to see more from me, and you just like the type of videos that I make, you just don't really care about the specific game, you're not here for a specific game, then stay tuned, keep subbed up, or if you're not subbed already, subscribe already, because we're going to be doing a bunch of other stuff. I'm going to start playing Ghost of Yote soon, but also I'm going to get back to God of War. I need to play God of War and God of War Ragnarok. Yes, I was mentioning it in this video because those are games that I'm thinking about playing. Because I have literally a series of God of War on my channel, on my live streams, and I have not finished the game. It's been literally like months at this point. I need to go finish it and live stream again. So I'm going to go ahead and think about and doing that. And then playing the second game. I also have Judgment to finish up. I don't know that I'll actually put that into a stream though, but I do have a Lost Judgment to play. And yeah, that's something I could play as well. Matter of fact, Judgment also fits in the scene, right, of games that have some type of interaction and rapport with characters. It's like, even though that game has the least compared to other Like a Dragon games, it still has a lot because it's the necessary effort put into the dialogue. Kojima, as good as he is at certain stuff, I don't think dialogue is his forte. I don't think I don't think that, maybe storytelling is his forte. I don't know. I haven't really played Metal Gear games, so I don't actually know about that. I don't know much about Kojima in general, but I do know that he oversees a lot on Death Stranding, pretty much everything. So with that in mind, I consider almost everything about the game, I attribute it to him. So if talking about the gameplay, he must be good at that then. He must be good at understanding, you know, what can make good gameplay elements. But I don't think he understands this like storytelling element, right? I think he might need to go like, I don't know, try something else, try a movie or show and try to get himself in there, really like understand how to really write these characters right and make them interact in a believable way. Because even my ideas, I bet you they would be better, right? You're like, oh, that sounds stupid, a cookout. Like, it's a cookout, bro. It's a barbecue. What cannot be fun about that? We love seeing this is what anime games do all the time. They have their characters just do random little event things, like, and it builds rapport with the characters because they just do random stupid things. They do this in animes all the time. So why can't he do that? I don't know. It's like, imagine like, you know, you have Rainy and she's like, what, like, talking about the baby, like, oh, you want some food too? And then tomorrow's like, I don't think the baby can eat that. It's a simple interaction, but then everyone starts laughing, right? That builds rapport. And then they go into a conversation about it or something. Or maybe they cut to like Fragile and Sam talking about something. Maybe they're like holding hands and like getting closer. And we can actually see their connection growing. See, this is simple stuff, okay? I watch movies. I watch film. I watch shows. I see this stuff all the time. This is simple stuff. This is simple people and character building and story building. I just don't see it here. Even plenty of video games do this. Red Dead 2, which is literally like compared to Death Stranding, is light years like better, right? Granted, Red Dead 2 is better than lots of games that exist. I just think it's top tier, so you could probably pit it against many games and I would say Red Dead 2 is better. So granted, I'd say Red Dead 2 is better than any game that released this year and last year and the year before that, most likely. So hey, that's just me, bro. It's peak, bro. I love Red Dead 2, bro. I really enjoyed that game. But yeah, that's really it. I have to say about how I have to say about this video. This video was me just kind of fully cementing, I don't know what I'll call this video, but it's me fully cementing the idea being that I am moving on because I can't enjoy the game no more, and I'm fully trying to give this video its full comeuppance or full explanation, to fully explain, even if it ends up being a long video, which it has been. I wanted to fully explain, even while I'm super tired, why I can't play this, bro. I can't make more videos on this game no more, bro. I can't do it, bro. The last lore video I'll do for now is the video I made on BTs. That video is coming out before this, so this would be, in essence, this would be my semi last video on Death Stranding 2, probably, which means that most likely I made like I said, I made a few pretty few many videos on Death Stranding that I had ready to upload. Probably just this one's gonna be out, to be honest. So yeah, but that's about it. So yeah, stay tuned for more stuff on the channel. I don't know what the next video will be, but I know that I want to get back into doing some streaming stuff, so stay tuned for some streams coming soon. Most likely finishing up God of War to start, right? We got some other games to play, but most likely just that to start. And yeah, so like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, comment down below what you think, and stay tuned for the next video. It's about to get crazy. Like I said, sub up real quick. Watch the video on the screen right now. I hope you enjoy it.